Welcome. Welcome to the 40 Portal Book Club. It's our second non-meeting meeting. We are still working through When Things Fall Apart because it's a big, meaty subject. And honestly, that could be a subtitle for the 40 Portal because I will tell you, when I started this project, I just felt like it was really sexy, light, and fun. I was like, 40, man, let's go. Like, look at all these gorgeous, like powerful, free feeling women in their 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s. And I can't wait to get there. I'm so excited to talk about it. I'm so excited to talk to them. I'm so excited to feel that for myself. And to be honest, what I have found is that the first few months of 40 did feel kind of light and fun and sexy. And then by October, some things started falling apart. Not like in my body, like in my life. Like, I'm telling you, and I'm not going to give you the details of this yet because I'm still like coming out of it, still processing it. Once it's like in a good place that is complete, then I can share from it. That's how I roll through my life in my work. But dang, if things didn't have to fall apart. And mostly the thing that fell apart was like a certain way of doing things that I had been doing things in my life, probably for my whole life, that I'm getting like great understanding of now that I've moved through the dissolution of that, or I'm moving through the dissolution of that. And perhaps that's why I was drawn to this as the first book for the 40 Portal Book Club. And I have to tell you, this book club is no pressure because I'm like, you don't even have to read the book. I'm rereading it for you. But as I'm rereading this book for like the 13th time, whoa, it's really, really helping me with the things that have fallen apart in my life recently. And so I don't know, maybe read the book. It's okay. I'm going to work through a good chapter today. But before we dive in, and I will circle back to the thing that has fallen apart for me. Trust me, I will, because it's good. And it really is. Oh, what I'm finding is the only way through the portal is through the portal. And this chapter talks about like how some of us, me, included, like can really try to avoid going through it. We spend a lot of time like reorganizing things or distracting ourselves to not have to go through it. But the only way through is through. And part of the through often includes things falling apart. But like we learned last week in the first non-meeting meeting of the book club, things fall apart, they come back together, they fall apart again, they come together again. It's just like that. So it's not a moral failing on our part necessarily. It's not that we're the worst person in the world necessarily. It's not that we're bad and we have to get better when things fall apart. It just is a natural part of things too. So that is what I'll say about that for right now. Before we dive into today's chapter, will you please say hello in the comments here on Substack? This is like a tiny group of us right now, this book club. And I know we're all here because we want to go deeper and we probably love books and we love reading and we love learning from books. So will you say hello in the comments, introduce yourself, give us your age, and tell us, what is a book that has changed your life? Leave that in the Substack comments. Like, I can't wait to hear your titles because we're building this little canon, right? We're building this little canon of books for women in midlife right now together. If you listen to the podcast, which if you've made it this far, you've probably listened to the podcast. Thank you for listening. We talk about books a lot on there. And so with those titles, your titles, the ones that I've selected, like this is like a pretty wise library of books that we are collecting. So please say hello in the comments, introduce yourself, name a book or 10 that have changed your life, and maybe we'll cycle through one of those in the 40 Portal Book Club. Okay, that is my preamble. I'm going to dive into this chapter of the book that when I read it this week, I was like, okay. This is why I'm saying maybe you read this one, because I really needed to reread this chapter as I'm processing this thing that I'm processing that has fallen apart for me since turning 40, which I promise like one day we'll get into. Okay, so this is chapter 3. It's called This Very Moment is the Perfect Teacher. And full stop right there, like mic drop. We live in a culture that seems to always be looking for the perfect moment. right? Like getting the conditions of something just right, getting like the shot set up and the filter right and the whatever. Like we are just chasing the myth of perfection. And I know I can use that as an avoidance strategy too. Like I'll get to that when X, Y, and Z line up. I'll have time to look at that when this happens. Like just kind of putting things off for some imaginary perfect moment that's probably not coming. And so right there, this reframe that this very moment, whatever it is actually the perfect teacher. Okay. And I'm going to just read a little bit because it's good. She says it all better than I can. Generally speaking, we regard discomfort in any form as bad news. She says, most of us like do not take these situations, these bad news situations, as teachings. We automatically hate them. We run like crazy. We use all kinds of ways to escape. All addiction stems from this moment when we meet our edge and we just can't stand it. We feel like we have to soften it, pad it with something, and we become addicted to whatever it is that seems to ease the pain. In fact, the rampant materialism that we see in the world stems from this moment. There are so many ways that have been dreamt up to entertain us away from the moment. Soften its edge, deaden it, so we don't have to feel the full impact of the pain that arises when we cannot manipulate the situation to make us come out looking fine. Pema. And here's the thing. I gotta deaden the edge and take a sip of my coffee. This book was published in 1997. This book is almost 30 years old, and she wrote it after collecting a bunch of talks that she had given over the previous 10 years. So this book, the material in this book is like as old as I am. And it's fascinating to read that now. All the ways we dream up to avoid the moment, right? Like what was she talking about in the 80s? What was she talking about in the 90s? Like certainly stuff that still persists, like spending money, sex, eating, drugs, alcohol, overworking, codependence, like so many ways to slip out of the moment, right? Go into the movies. But like the primary, so many of us, myself included, the primary way that we slip out of the moment like wasn't even happening. And I mean my phone. Like, and what I basically the thesis of this chapter, this very moment is the perfect teacher, is just recognizing like, yeah, none of us, not many of us, maybe not none of us, but not many of us welcome an uncomfortable fucking situation with excitement. Most of us, myself included, are like, oh no, thanks. And instead, we're like searching out for the perfect moment one day when that maybe we'll work on that thing, right? It's not coming for us. And the more filled with friction, tension, and discomfort and like shit we have to deal with, like we have to actually confront, the more stuff, to borrow Pema's phrase, that is like nailing us to the moment, that's actually good news. It is the perfect teacher when we confront this shit and don't slip away, right? That is the way through. And that is what I am finding in my own personal 40 portal, which like maybe I'll talk about once I turn 41. Like the shit that I have confronted in the last 10 months is like the stuff that nailed me to the moment. It was all the ways that I had avoided really like taking a close look at a particular part of my life and like avoided with, here are some other things that I used to avoid, like, and slip out of the moment, like people pleasing, having like softer, porous boundaries in some moments, like just to kind of keep things cool and keep the peace and keep moving, and make other people around me feel okay and happy at the expense of my own whatever needs. Yeah. And so what I have been living my way into, and that's why I'm so happy I'm rereading this, because now I'm like processing that. It feels so refreshing to hear her say things like, basically disappointment, embarrassment, and all of these places where we just cannot feel good are a sort of death. We've just lost our ground completely. We are unable to hold it together, and we feel like we're on top of things, rather than realizing that it takes the death for there to be birth. We just fight against the fear of death. Reaching our limit is not some sort of punishment. It's actually a sign of health, that when we meet the place where we are about to die, we feel fear and trembling. A further sign of health is that we don't become undone by fear and trembling, but we take it as a message that it's time to stop struggling and look directly at what is threatening us. Things like disappointment and anxiety are messengers telling us that we're about to go into unknown territory. And then she goes on to say, the point is that sooner or later, that happens to all of us. And it's been so healing for me to read this right now, because I'm like, oh, it can be so easy, at least for me, to like beat myself up. Like, why was that situation I just went through so painful? Why did I avoid it for so long? Like, how am I going to reorganize like the way I understand this part of my life? Like all these things. And am I a moral failure? Am I an asshole that like this happened? Right? Like these are thoughts that have gone through my head. And then she's like, just the point is, it's coming for all of us sooner or later. Like we can't avoid it. And nor should we. And I hate the word should, but I'll use it. Like, because it's moving through the portal, right? When we cannot avoid the discomfort, when we cannot avoid the tension, the like seeming death of the moment, and we can actually meet it head on. And she says, so how do we meet it head on? How do we work with our minds when we meet our match? Because she talks about like just above this, that like so many of us just freeze in terror, right? Or we fight or we flee. How do we actually meet the moment and not fight or flee or freeze? So she says, rather than indulge or reject our experience, we can somehow let the energy of the emotion, the quality of what we're feeling, pierce us to the heart. It is easier said than done, no kidding, but it's a noble way to live. It's definitely the path of compassion, the path of cultivating human bravery and kind-heartedness. And so I guess when I looked at like this sexy free feeling of 40, like I wanted that, like I'll have what she's having. And because it's a brave way to live in that place of like compassion and freedom in ourselves. And the only way you get there, I think, now that I've experienced the last 10 months, I'm like, is to meet the thing head on, right? To go through the portal it could be excruciating, right? It could be excruciating, but on the other side of it and going through the process, like by keeping ourselves open, by meeting the thing that terrifies us, that's how we get access to that freer way of living and being in our lives. At least this is my working theory right now. Okay. And then she talks about meditation, which if we're new to each other, that's actually my day job, is teaching meditation and yoga. And, you know, my primary business is running programs around those things. And so, you know, this is a pitch for meditation. And I'll say it's true and it works and it's painful. Meditation becomes a place where we can practice sitting with ourselves. Like we can actually practice sitting in the discomfort, whether it's just, oh my God, my nose is itchy and I just need to itch my nose, and then just seeing what happens if we don't itch our nose, right? Like really low stakes things. Or like, oh my God, I really am spiraling out on this thought and the thought is causing me stress. And if I could just quit meditating right now and jump into my inbox and take care of the thing, then everything will be better, right? Like that's searching for the perfect moment. It's like, nah, just sit with it, honey. Just sit with it. Just sit with that feeling of wanting to jump out of your skin, and you'll be okay. You'll survive it, right? Oh my God, that's what meditation does for us. It's not easy. It is simple. But it is a powerful tool to use to be able to sit with our discomfort. Okay, to not like escape the moment, but to really be with it. And LOL, lest you think that like, oh, then that means I'm always good at discomfort because I'm a meditation teacher and I meditate most days myself. No, honey, no. Like, we still miss things. We still have like so many spirals of growth and development to go through that bring new discomfort to our lives. Like, with each like spiral we're lucky enough to keep moving through. And she says this, she says, after a while, that's how we relate with hope and fear in our daily lives. Out of nowhere, we stop struggling and relax. We stop talking to ourselves and come back to the freshness of the present moment. This is something that evolves gradually, patiently, over time. How long does this process take? I would say it takes the rest of our lives. So like, you don't just get there, arrive, and like, oh, cool, I can deal with things now that I meditate. Like, you just, new things keep coming. The next moment becomes the perfect teacher too, because it's filled with like new tension, new issues, new growth, new growing edges. And it just takes the rest of our lives. Okay, so I'm probably gonna end here. In practicing meditation, we're not trying to live up to some kind of ideal, quite the opposite. We're just being with our experience, whatever it is. And like, whether or not you're like, I'm not trying to get you to pick up a formal meditation practice. I'm just telling you about this book. Because you don't need to sit in formal meditation, but it is a good place for you for us to practice this. But what she says here, we're just being with the experience, whatever it is. And like, the rubber on the road really meets on that one when you're like sitting in a moment and having a conversation with someone and like feeling that feeling of like, I want to shut down. I want to lash out. I want to get out of this. This is terrible. Like, we can practice in that moment what she describes, which is we're just being with our experience, whatever it is. If our experience is that sometimes we have some kind of perspective and sometimes we have none, then that's our experience. If sometimes we can approach what scares us and sometimes we absolutely can't, then that's our experience. This very moment is the perfect teacher, and it's always with us. It's really the most profound instruction. Just seeing what's going on, that's the teaching right there. We can be with what's happening and not dissociate. Awakeness is found in our pleasure and our pain, our confusion and our wisdom, available in each moment of our weird, unfathomable, ordinary, everyday lives. And it's so good. It's so good. So I guess today's prompt, after you put your book recommendation in the comments below and introduce yourself, oh God, is just moving through the rest of your day, as I will, because I got to go to the studio and go to work after this. How can we be with the experience of what we find in each moment, whether it's profound or confusing? Whether we're able to meet what scares us and look at it directly, or we absolutely can't today. Like, how can we be with that? So just notice that in your life today. Maybe come back into the comments, share how that worked for you, or write about it in your journal, or send me a message. Like, what would it feel like just for today to simply regard everything as potentially the perfect teacher, even if it's like something that's so goddamn annoying to you, or so goddamn frustrating, or so goddamn terrifying, right? How can we be with that experience as it is and regard it with open awareness, with curiosity, and as fodder for our own portal moments? Okay. I'll see you right back here next week. We'll do some more Pema. We got a couple more weeks of that, and then we're moving into the next author, next book, which will probably take us a lot of the summertime. And if you listen to this Sunday's episode that's coming out with Lorda, or no, Lorda's was last week, listen to that too. Maybe I talk about the book that is coming next in both of these episodes. It's a possibility, but Amber's episode that comes out this Sunday, I mentioned the book specifically. So that'll be a little preview for you. Okay, leave your books in the comments. Welcome to the 40 portal, babe. Whatever decade you're in, right? Moment can potentially be a portal moment. That's for sure. Okay. See you back here next Friday.